Hey everybody, we're going to do a little bit more with Kevin Hankis today. He does a really good job of describing how different we can feel about things and how our feelings about things can change over time and with different things that we go through or experience. And so I've got two more books to share with you today, Lilly's Purple Plastic Purse and also Sheila Ray, the Brave. And Sheila Ray, the Brave is about feeling brave most of the time and not feeling afraid of things. But it's also about how even when you're brave most of the time, sometimes you can be afraid of things. And that's all part of life. So Sheila Ray, the Brave by Kevin Hankis, and also Lilly's Purple Plastic Purse. Sheila Ray wasn't afraid of anything. She wasn't afraid of the dark. She wasn't afraid of thunder and lightning. And she wasn't afraid of the big black dog at the end of the block. Another old book. At dinner, Sheila Ray made believe that the cherries in her fruit cocktail were the eyes of dead bears. And she ate 5 of them. At school, Sheila Ray giggled when the principal walked by. She wasn't afraid at all. And when her classmate Wendell stole her jump rope during recess, Sheila Ray tied him up until the bell rang. "I'm very brave," Sheila Ray said, patting herself on the back. Sheila Ray stepped on every crack in the sidewalk without fear. When her sister Louise said there was a monster in the closet, Sheila Ray went for it. And she rode her bicycle no-handed, with her eyes closed. "Yay, yay, Sheila Ray," her friends yelled, clapping their hands. One day, Sheila Ray decided to walk home from school a new way. Louise was afraid to. "You're too brave for me," said Louise. "You're always such a scaredy cat," Sheila Ray called. "I am not," whispered Louise. Sheila Ray started off skipping. "I am brave," she sang. "I am fearless." She stepped on every crack. She walked backwards with her eyes closed. She growled at stray dogs. She bared her teeth at stray cats. And she pretended that the trees were evil creatures. She climbed up them and broke their fingers off. Snap, snap, snap. Sheila Ray walked and walked. She turned corners. She crossed streets. It suddenly occurred to Sheila Ray that nothing looked familiar. Familiar means something that you recognize, something that you know about. So she's been walking and stepping on cracks and climbing trees, and now she looks around and realizes she doesn't know where she is. Sheila Ray heard frightening noises. They sounded worse than thunder. She thought horrible thoughts. They were worse than anything she'd ever imagined. "I am brave," Sheila Ray tried to convince herself. "I am fearless." The sounds became more frightening, the thoughts became more horrible, and she sat down on a rock and cried. "Help," she sniffed. She thought of her mother and father and Louise. "Mother? Father? Louise?" she cried. Now look up in the tree on this page. You might not have noticed that Louise has been with her the whole time, and she didn't know. "Here I am," a voice said. "Louise!" Sheila Ray hugged her sister. "We're lost," Sheila Ray said. "No, we're not," said Louise. "I know the way home. Follow me." Remember, Louise said she was too afraid to walk a different way, but she did it. Louise stepped on every crack. She walked backwards with her eyes closed. She growled at stray dogs and bared her teeth at stray cats. And she pretended that the trees were evil creatures, and she jumped up and broke the fingers off. Snap, snap, snap. Sheila Ray walked quietly behind her. They walked and walked. They crossed streets. They turned corners. Soon their house could be seen between the trees. Sheila Ray grabbed Louise and dashed up the street. When they reached their own yard and the gate was closed behind them, Sheila Ray said, "Louise, you are brave. You are fearless." "We both are," said Louise, and they walked backwards into the house with their eyes closed. So I like a few things about that story. I wonder if you like them too. I like that it does what I was describing about how you can start out feeling one way. Sheila Ray felt super brave. And then sometimes you can feel a little less brave. And then sometimes you can go back to feel a little more brave. But what I also really like is that Sheila Ray learned that people who are important to you can also help you to feel better when you might feel afraid or sad or upset. That's one of the things that people who are important to you can do for you in your life. They can make you feel better about things that make you feel scared or sad or upset. And that's what Sheila Ray's sister Louise did for her. She made her feel far more brave when she wasn't feeling as brave when she got lost. So, Sheila Ray the Brave by Kevin Hankes. Now we're going to read Lily's Purple Plastic Purse and another story about how you can feel one way and then feel another way and then start to feel another way again. Just, again, part of life. But Lily starts out feeling really happy and excited about something, and then she goes through feeling a little bit different and then comes back, and I want you to pay attention to how that all works. Also with people in her life. They're actually not people, they're mice who are important to her. Sometimes you don't always agree with the people who are important to you. That's also something you can work through with certain things that you should do when you don't agree or you don't have a good conversation all the time. There are ways that you can make that better. And Lily learns that in this book, Lily's Purple Plastic Purse. Lily loved school. She loved the pointy pencils. She loved the squeaky chalk. She loved the way her boots went clickety-clickety-click down the long, shiny hallways. She loved the privacy of her very own desk. She loved the fish sticks and the chocolate milk every Friday in the lunchroom. And most of all, she loved her teacher, Mr. Slinger. Mr. Slinger was as sharp as a tack. He wore artistic shirts. He wore glasses on a chain around his neck. He wore different colored ties for each day of the week. "Wow," said Lily. That was just about all she could say. Wow. Instead of "greeting students" or "good morning pupils," Mr. Slinger winked and said, "Howdy." He thought that desks in rows were old-fashioned and boring. "Do you rodents think you can handle a semicircle?" Rodents is another word for lots of different types of animals. Rats, mice, even rabbits are considered rodents. And he always provided the most tasty snacks, things that were curly and crunchy and cheesy. "I want to be a teacher when I grow up," said Lily. "Me too," said her friends Chester and Wilson and Victor. At home, Lily pretended to be Mr. Slinger. "I am the teacher," she told her baby brother Julius. Remember Julius from yesterday's book. "Listen up." Lily even wanted her own set of deluxe picture encyclopedias. So not too many people have encyclopedias anymore because you can look questions up that you have on your phone. But in the old days, there used to be, and there are still these books in the library, you just might not have seen them. But there are books and books and books and books and books on things that you can just look up the answers to, things that you might not know the answer to, you can find the answer to in an encyclopedia. So also in the old days, teachers might have had those for kids to look up or for the teachers to look up the answers to questions that they didn't know the answer to. So when she pretended to be a teacher, she wanted to have those books. "What's with Lily?" asked her mother. "I thought she wanted to be a surgeon or an ambulance driver or a diva," which is a famous fancy singer. It must be because of her new teacher, Mr. Slinger, said her father. Wow, said her mother. That was just about all they could say. Wow. Whenever the students had free time, they were permitted to go to the light bulb lab in the back of the classroom. They expressed their ideas creatively through drawing and writing. Lilly went there often. She had lots of ideas. She drew pictures of Mr. Slinger. She wrote stories about him too. And during sharing time, Lilly showed her creations to the whole class. Wow, said Mr. Slinger. That was just about all he could say. Wow. And the book that she wrote, the title is Big Friendly Mr. Nice Man Teacher. And there's a wonderful picture of Mr. Slinger with a colorful shirt and stars and a sunny sky and all of these really happy things. When Mr. Slinger had bus duty, Lilly stood in line even though she didn't ride the bus. Lilly raised her hand more than anyone else in class, even if she didn't know the answer. And she volunteered to stay after school to clap the erasers, which, again, remember our chalkboard in our classroom? It has erasers that look like our whiteboard erasers, but when they fill up with chalk, they get really dusty. So in the old days when chalkboards were used all the time, you would clap them together to clean them and get the dust out of them. I want to be a teacher when I grow up, said Lilly. Excellent choice, said Mr. Slinger. One Monday morning, Lilly came to school especially happy. She had gone shopping with her Grammy over the weekend, and she had a new pair of movie star sunglasses, glittery diamonds, and a chain like Mr. Slinger's. She had 3 shiny quarters, and best of all, she had a brand new purple plastic purse that played a tune when you opened it. So she is so excited to come to school with all of these new and fun things. Lilly wanted to show everyone. Not now, said Mr. Slinger. Listen to our story. Lilly had a hard time listening. Lilly really wanted to show everyone. Not now, said Mr. Slinger. Let's be considerate of our classmates, meaning let's think about them and their learning. Remember our number one classroom rule, help people learn? So Mr. Slinger is saying, let's do that. Let's consider our classmates and their learning instead of sharing our stuff. Lilly had a really hard time being considerate. Considerate means to think of other people and what they might need. Lilly really, really wanted to show everyone. Not now, said Mr. Slinger. Wait until recess or sharing time. But Lilly couldn't wait. The glasses were so glittery, the quarters were so shiny, the purse played such nice music, not to mention how excellent it was for storing all of her school supplies. Look, Lilly whispered fiercely. Look, everyone. Look at what I've got. Everyone looked, including Mr. Slinger. He was not impressed. I'll just keep your things at my desk until the end of the day, said Mr. Slinger. They'll be safe there, and then you can take them home. Lilly's stomach lurched. She felt like crying. Her glasses were gone, her quarters were gone, her purple plastic purse was gone. Lilly longed for her purse, meaning she really wanted it back. She even was too sad to eat the snack Mr. Slinger served before recess. That afternoon, when she went to the light bulb lab, she was still very sad. She thought and she thought and she thought, and then she got angry. She thought and she thought and she thought, and then she became furious, which means even more than angry. She thought and she thought and she thought a little bit longer, and then she drew a picture of Mr. Slinger. On the way home, Lilly opened her purse. Her glasses and the quarters were inside. Oops, skipped a page. Right before the last bell rang, she sneaked the drawing of Mr. Slinger into his bag. And when all the students were buttoned and zipped and snapped and tied and ready to go home, Mr. Slinger strolled over to Lilly and gave her purple plastic purse back. It is a beautiful purse, said Mr. Slinger. Your quarters are nice and shiny. The glasses are fabulous. You may bring them back to school as long as you don't disturb the rest of the class. I do not want to be a teacher when I grow up, Lilly said, and she marched out of the classroom because she was still angry. Now, here's the picture that she drew of Mr. Slinger, very different from the picture she drew the day before. This says, big, mean Mr. Stealing Teacher. Wanted. Claws, bad, thief. I do not want to be a teacher when I grow up. That's what she drew. She was angry. On the way home, Lily opened her purse. Her glasses and quarters were inside, and so was a note from Mr. Slinger. It said, "Today was a difficult day. Tomorrow will be better." There was also a small bag of tasty snacks at the bottom of the purse. Lily's stomach lurched again. She felt like crying again. She felt simply awful. Lily ran all the way home and told her mother and father everything. Instead of watching her favorite cartoons, Lily decided to sit in the uncooperative chair, which is the timeout chair. And here are some of the things she said to herself while she sat in the chair. "I'll stay here a million years for Mr. Slinger. Why does everything always happen to me? 1051, 1052, 1099. So she counted for many, many, many numbers. And that night, Lily drew a new picture of Mr. Slinger, and she wrote a story about him too. The story went like this. Lily was really, really sorry. So everyone forgave her, even her parents, even her stinky baby brother, even her especially incredible, which means amazing and awesome, teacher. And then the sun shined its smiley face down on everyone and everything, even the bugs and worms. And on the picture, she drew a much smilier picture of Mr. Slinger, and it says, "Listen up, I forgive everyone," with a line going to his mouth, showing that's what he said. And an arrow pointing to him, "Could be principal, kind, good, nice." And then a line from her head that says, "I am really, 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 really sorry." Lily's mother wrote a note, and Lily's father baked some tasty snacks for Lily to take to school the next day. "I think Mr. Slinger will understand," said Lily's mother. "I know he will," said Lily's father. The next morning, Lily got to school early. "These are for you," she said to Mr. Slinger, "because I'm really, 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 really sorry." "What do you think we should do with this?" asked Mr. Slinger. "Could we just throw it away?" asked Lily. "Excellent idea," said Mr. Slinger with the picture, and threw it away. During sharing time, Lily demonstrated the many uses, Luna, and unique qualities of her purple plastic purse, her shiny quarters, and her glittery movie star sunglasses. Then she did a little performance using them as props. "It's called interpretive dance," said Lily. Mr. Slinger joined in. "Wow," said the entire class. That was just about all they could say. Wow. Throughout the rest of the day, Lily's purse and quarters and sunglasses were tucked safely inside her desk. She peeked at them often, but didn't disturb a soul. Right before the last bell rang, Mr. Slinger served Lily's snacks to everyone's delight. "What do you want to be when you grow up?" asked Mr. Slinger. "A teacher," everyone responded, even Lily. "Excellent choice," said Mr. Slinger. And as the pupils filed out of the classroom, Lily held her purple plastic purse so close to her heart. Mr. Slinger was right. It had been a better day. Lily ran and skipped and hopped and flew all the way home. She was so happy. And she really did want to be a teacher when she grew up. That is, when she didn't want to be a dancer or a surgeon or an ambulance driver or a diva or a pilot or a hairdresser or a scuba diver. And so what I want you to think about with that one is that, sometimes we make mistakes in the way that we treat other people, even ones that we really care about. If you think about how much Lily loved Mr. Slinger, and she felt so sad after she had gotten so angry and drawn that mean picture of him. But that happens. Sometimes we make mistakes when we're mad, or when we're sad, or when we're worried about something. Sometimes we make mistakes and don't treat those around us super kindly. And that's part of life. And the other part of life is making that better by saying, "I'm really sorry. I made a mistake." And remember what sorry means? I'm sorry means I made a mistake and it won't happen again. And we talk about that all the time in class. It happens. So have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.